Hey guys, so here bringing you another video and welcome to another high rating spectate. Not done these in a while, and I'll be honest, I didn't do these for a while because you're probably going to get quite a lot of them over the Christmas period. Hopefully you guys understand. I think it's still really good content, but I am maintaining 2 videos a day every day during the Christmas period while I'm having a week or so off visiting family. And yeah, the thing with challenge spectates or high rating spectates is I can go into these and go, right, I'm going to record 3 of these and I know they're all videos, versus a streaming session where when you're playing yourself, it's not always a video, as we all know. You know, not every game turns into a video. Although my next recording session tomorrow, I might do one of those sessions that every game is uploaded no matter how it does. I am doing pretty good in terms of bulk recording. But yeah, I need to just have some good second videos. So challenge spectates, there probably going to be some more arena uploaded. And yeah, hopefully you guys have a good festive period. We are watching Nocturne today. The reason for watching Nocturne is he's kind of a weird champion for me, because I kind of feel Nocturne is very old. Like, he is very old and he's quite one-dimensional, but he's had a lot of strength in recent months in League, and a lot of people would even, I don't know if they'd use the overpowered word, but a lot of people put him in a very strong position in SoloQ especially. And that's the thing, SoloQ is where this champion shines, because, you know, in coordinated play, professional play, flex queue, clash, he does suffer a bit because his big thing is denying vision with his ultimate and picking people off. Well, when you're in a competitive environment and you're all talking on comms, it screws the Nocturne up a bit, because when someone goes, where's the Nocturne in SoloQ? Well, you don't know. You're not talking to each other. You know, it doesn't give you vision and everything. So the moment that you're playing with people on microphones and your top laner goes, oh yeah, he's on me, you know, and that limits his strength a little bit. So that's where if sometimes you ever wonder, oh, Nocturne's pretty strong, but why isn't he played in, you know, you don't see him maybe in Clash games as much, or you don't see him in pro play as much. That's kind of why. Certain strategies and certain champions suffer a bit more in coordinated play. So he's a very heavy farming early jungler, kind of the same as Fiddle. You know, there are kind of some direct comparisons between Nocturne and Fiddle. Both kind of yeet into middle of combat with their ultimate. Obviously Nocturne can do it at higher range, but Fiddle's does massive AoE. Both do fears, and both can gank from odd places. You know, that's kind of the biggest trick to something like a Fiddle or even Nocturne, is you get ganked when you're not thinking about getting ganked. Is Fiddle will kind of jump over walls, Nocturne will just fly from half of the map practically. So both of these champions, it's kind of a cool comparison to have, because they are pretty similar, like AP and AD versions of each other almost. So as for the game, you've got Darius versus Yone. Typically should be a Darius orientated lane, but Yone, obviously being as crazy as he is, a lot of the time Yone's beat everything in top lane. I think I uploaded a Yone video not long ago of me beating a Darius. Yeah, he's a bit silly, Yone, as most of us agree. Anyway, obviously Fiddle versus Nocturne jungle. Oh, there's the Fiddle. Oh, puts a pink ward down. Will he be able to W? Okay, he just goes away from it. Obviously, what Nocturne would be ultimately looking to do. Nice kills happening in bot lane, and Ezreal's going to try his best to delay. He cleanses really early. Not sure about that cleanse. Maybe it was a cleanse to get rid of the Ashe slow, to try and just get at least 1 kill. But that's the type of thing that the likelihood of getting that kill was so low, I would have just conceded the death. So you can see here, the Fiddle is not happy if Nocturne just comes in here and takes it, but what is he else going to do? He doesn't have kill pressure, and that's one of the negatives of Fiddle is in modern day jungling, if you don't have kill pressure, you can kind of get bullied around a little bit, hence why you don't see tank junglers. When was the last time you saw an actual tank jungler? It's been months and months and months. They don't have kill pressure, therefore they're ignored. So meta in the jungle right now is very much kill orientated, carry orientated. You know, they're all kind of in that same vein of champions. You know, a lot of the AD champions build the same thing, and the AP ones are kind of, again, kind of jump on top, do damage. There is a rumor, and whether it's the right word to say, the item update that's happening. I've not played any of the PvE. I don't love playing on the PvE because it kind of gives you a false impression in various ways. One, I'm lagging being from EU, so I'm on like 180 ping, so that's always going to feel bad when you're trying to learn the new stuff. But then also, the big thing is you're never going to get even matchups when you're playing on the PvE. Is like, I'm never going to get everyone diamond playing together at the same ping rate. It's just not going to work, so it's always going to be a slight false impression of the changes. So I've not played it, but people that have, especially, you know, who are American and they don't lag on the PvE, the rumor has it is tanks are quite strong. Glass cannon builds, like mage glass cannon builds, because again, a lot of mage items no longer have health on them, but they have more damage, so they deal a lot of damage, but they die instantly, and I'm fine with that. That's kind of what a mage is supposed to be. But yeah, the tanks apparently are pretty strong, because tanks do, especially in top lane, even though, yes, jungle, they're not really as popular. A lot of tanks in top lane, Ornn and all those, Scion, they do way too much damage that they should. And that hasn't really been toned down with the item changes. But if anything, they've got some really, really strong options in the tank. So there was the Fiddle, by the way. Then the Yone's trying to come. So that was 2 ultimates. Really nice spell shield initially to dodge the first spear. Triss just gets rid of the Nocturne. There could have maybe been a kill opportunity there because the Nocturne, or at least get his flash, but she just got rid of him instead of doing anything else. Yone, by the way, already roaming down for a play does show this Yone is a bit desperate. Darius, oh, that was actually a mistake by Darius. Some of you may notice. He ulted the wrong person. So he actually had full passive and stacks up on the Yone. I don't think he had yet auto-attacked the Nocturne to get the passive then on the Nocturne to get the full true damage and everything. I think he just instantly ulted the Nocturne. Thus, his ultimate didn't do that much damage. So, slight mistake there. Bot lane was doing well for the Ashe, but I presume some type of overstay has happened and they end up dying. You can see, though, it's going well for the Ashe overall. 20-odd farm ahead, 3-1 at this stage, but maybe going back a little bit earlier would have been a good idea. Nocturne, though, hits obviously level 6. Got obviously his first kill on the Darius, and now is looking to go back for the Darius. Again, Darius is a pretty smart target to gank, if anything. You know, typically top laners, you know, top lane isn't really a lane that gets ganked much anymore, but it can be. And why can it be? Because top lane is the island lane. It's the most 1v1 lane in League now, and it's become even more of an island since the whole split pushing meta's taken over. So a lot of the time, top laners get surprised when they get ganked because they're not used to it. Their lane has become even more 1v1 just only. Junglers ignore it for the most part. Mid laners don't roam there that much. It's just a 1v1 lane. So when they do actually gank top, if a jungler ganks top, it actually can go really well. The negative of constantly going top lane, though, because that people say, like, oh, maybe I'll just make my strategy as a jungler to gank top. There are negatives of it. So firstly, you're a lot of the time giving up jungle pressure in terms of dragons. So you're the other side of the map. If the other junglers have it switched on, they will just force dragons whenever you're top. There was the random Fiddle. This Fiddle has a bit of odd positioning, it has to be said. Another negative, though, you could argue, is bot lane is still what I would call the premier carry lane. Most games are determined by 2 things. 1, your jungler strength, and 2, your AD carry strength. And yeah, I know top lane there's a lot more influence nowadays with split pushing, but still most games, I think, are determined by jungle strength and AD carry strength. And most of the time, the jungler builds strength in bot lane while helping their AD carry build strength. So if you're constantly going top lane, but then your bot lane ends up doing bad because of it, that's sometimes not a good trade-off. I would still always want a really fed Kai'Sa over most top laners getting a few ganks. So yeah, Dragon, though, done. Lots of pings happening. So again, just to make it very clear, because sometimes in these challenger spectates, people are like, dude, the amount of pings. Yeah, so we're in the higher rating you go. One thing you will, on average, nice play by Nocturne. Really nice plays by Nocturne. He's probably going to end up dead unless the Ashe can help, which he does. Back away now. Don't be greedy. You do have the Vex, I guess, but still, don't be overly greedy. If the Fiddle, I want to just pause it and just check. The Fiddle, I was actually going to say, if he's not doing Rift Herald, he's doing something wrong. He's trying to force a gank top lane. Stupid. Darius is already winning, technically, the 1v1. Like, this Yone is dying in 1v1s, you don't need to gank for that. Like, if the fiddle is the other side of the map to the important priority side, but at least if you get a Rift Herald, then that can translate into something else. Now, he may have a failed gank top lane and then, you know, then go to Rift Herald, but he should have just done it straight away. And apparently, yeah, Fiddlesticks even used his ultimate and everything in that gank, and Yone managed to survive. So obviously the one thing we don't know with these spectators, we don't have the loading screen that gives all the information. I don't know if this Fiddlesticks is a jungle player or anything. We don't know if the Nocturne is technically a jungle player. How I find these, some people may ask, sometimes I do specific searches of, I want to watch an amazing Rengar player, and I'll look up on League of Graphs, typically best Rengar player EUS, and I'll try to get a replay from them, and if I can't get it from the best player, then I'll go down in kind of the list on League of Graphs. These replays, by the way, are inbuilt on the League of Legends client. You don't need to download them from any third-party software. They just have to be the current patch replays. And by the way, Fiddle didn't even do Rift Herald. Or I'll sometimes just kind of search High Challenger, and more often than not, sometimes, yeah, I'll take a High Challenger person, I'll go, oh, that's a good game, I'll do that. But what often happens is I look through a High Challenger's replay, history, and I'll kind of see who else has done well in those games. And that's how I found this replay. I believe we're in Grandmaster or Master at the moment. And I was basically just looking at other match histories and was like, oh, someone's done good on Nocturne. That's interesting. And I quite like the opposition of a Fiddle. I don't know why. And again, if you know, again, I was a Fiddlesticks main a long, long time ago. But I don't really know why you'd go Hex Flash on Fiddlesticks. I don't really get that. Like, the synergy of Hex Flash with his ultimate doesn't really make sense or anything. So yeah, maybe it's to just get positioning. That would be my only true guess, is maybe because Fiddle's all about getting in the right positioning to then ultimate. Maybe because if you don't have Hex Flash, you can't always do that good repositioning. Maybe that's it. But I still think there are probably better things to take. Anyway, you can see the Ashe DPS absolutely killing it. I believe, if I'm actually not mistaken, the profile I initially looked up was the Ashes, and then I found the Nocturne through the Ashes profile. I just thought it would be a more interesting replay. So play instantly started. Fiddlesticks got caught completely unawares. Tristana TPs to the bottom lane tower, but a bit too late. She is going for it, which is a bit crazy. She's using everything, though. She does get the kill, and Vex is on her way. Really good flash. She gets the fear and everything before the Tristana could get away. And overall, not a bad play. Unfortunately, because Riot, I don't know, their prioritization, obviously, with dev stuff isn't heavy into replays. We still have the bug that it doesn't show TPs in the correct place. Oh, really nice spell shield. Milio does take it, which is not great, but still good to get the kill with no one dying. So overall, what I would say about this Nocturne, everything so far has just been very clean and collected. There's been no high risks, and that's sometimes an important thing that I think a lot of SoloQ junglers need to take. How many of you in your own games, and even in my own games, have that jungler that's in the enemy jungle at a really bad time and they die, and you're like, well, great, you just gave my solo laner 3 double buffs. Very often the better junglers, they'll never do that, because they know when to risk going into enemy jungle, because, crazy concept here, they're thinking about what they're doing. I've always said one of the biggest criticisms I've got about SoloQ players is they don't, on average, think. And that isn't, like, a funny term. It's genuine, true. Like, that isn't... I'm not trying to say anything different than what I am. They are not thinking while they play. So if you have someone that just runs into the jungle at, you know, 2 minutes in... I remember I had one the other day. I don't know if it's making it to YouTube or not in a few days or whatever. It was an Evelyn one-trick. And we saw that she started red, which is a bit weird for an Evelyn, but she started red, and then we saw the Graves on the enemy team was stealing her blue. Okay, naturally you'd be like, right, I can go steal his blue now. What the Evelyn did, and again, it's that process of not really thinking it through, Evelyn's early clear isn't that fast. She did her red, she did a couple camps, so it didn't instantly go take the blue. But then she didn't take the blue. She went to do wolves first. Then I think she did maybe even the toad. And then she did blue. And you can probably guess what happened. She got caught because she stayed in the enemy jungle too long. Because she wasn't thinking. Like, I don't know. It's bizarre. Oh, oh, Alistair did do a boo-boo. He flashed without the vet. Oh, God, Darius, hello. So Darius coming for that play weirds me out. Dragon is available, and that might be why he's coming, but it still weirds me out a bit. Like, I don't think that's... Again, that's not a very top lane thing to do anymore. Again, Yone also comes, but he comes as a reaction, not intention. Darius intended to come for this play, and now Darius has used both sums. He is obviously hard countered against an Ashe, slowing him constantly. So realistically, he's not going to be able to do much more unless the Ashe is really deep in the enemy territory and they kind of just give it to the Darius, which looks like what's happened. Vex having a bit of trouble, does finish it off. Tristana fighting the Nocturne. She might get... Oh my god, she's going to die to Dragon. Oh! Oh! Go! Yeah, she's dead. Bye-bye. Stridebreaker. So overall, a decent fight for Red Team. Ezreal, I believe, is the lone survivor in that fight. Ezreal comes down a bit too early, though. But yeah, just a little bit sloppy. I don't think... Yeah, Fiddlesticks didn't even get his ultimate off in that whole fight. Obviously, that is the whole thing about Fiddle, is his ultimate. Milio does overstay and gets himself killed. And what, again, Nocturne is doing, this is all about that kind of playing smart, not risking. You may notice, oh, my blue's up. There's a very high chance that the enemy team, like they're not, you can see them here, they might have invaded and taken his blue. But Nocturne is okay with that. He's okay with giving that up because he's worth a 500 gold bounty. He'd give 800 total gold to somebody if he died. It's not worth the risk for him to be like, no, I'm taking my blue after this dragon no matter what. He's not risking it. And that's smart. That's thinking. So again, very good to see. So far, just very clean Nocturne play. Build-wise, I think Nocturne has a pretty standard build nowadays. I have seen a couple Nocturnes float around lethality Nocturne. That's stupid. Don't... Like, honestly, the damage isn't even impressive. There you go. Fiddlesticks got an ultimate off in mid. The damage isn't even that good compared to Stridebreaker, Black Cleaver, Nocturne. And do not buy Axiom Arc. That is what I would say is a noob bait. I get the theory of it, is like Nocturne is tied to his ultimate, therefore Axiom Arc helps him have it up more. He's kind of tied to his ultimate. Like, a bad Nocturne is tied to his ultimate completely. A good Nocturne isn't. I'd say that's the difference. You don't have to have it. And again, if you're really good at Nocturne, just make your ultimate count when you've got it up. That's what I would say. So yeah, if you're not very good with Nocturne, I would say go Axiom Arc, but don't prioritize it at all. But yeah. So as for the game, obviously the Yone's having a hard time, but at least he's farming well. And again, it's Yone, let's be honest. He's going to take over eventually. He's going to outscale a Darius, and there's just nothing a Darius can do. So very nice pressure, and that's what I like about this Nocturne. Why is he invading then? Because he then has the, you know, momentum, and he's got the strength to feel, no, I can do that now. He didn't do it earlier in this game, but now he's really strong. I'm going to go for those plays. He nearly kills the Fiddle. He gets the Fiddle summoners. The blue team is trying desperately to try and help and take over, but obviously a bit too late. Well done for red team to obviously back up the Nocturne. Yeah, just really, really good plays, to be honest. If that Yone hit that knock-up Q, that would have probably turned into a kill. By the way, this whole time, Vex has just been bot lane. So this is quite a big example of red team winning, where they don't even need a fairly strong Vex to come for fights. I would say Tristana mid ultimately has kind of fallen away in terms of her strength. You know, she was very strong because it is a cheese pick. I would say Tristana mid was very strong and people didn't understand Tristana mid. Because people understand it more and, you know, oh, avoid her level 2 all in or whatever, yeah, she kind of isn't worth playing mid anymore. And that sometimes happens with picks, is they're the strongest thing about picks, or the strongest thing about champion picks sometimes isn't the champion, isn't the actual pick, it's the lack of knowledge that people have against it. And this obviously, and he's a great content creator, seems like a nice guy, but again, it's a very big example of the Baus FFS. His strategy has now become mainstream, and he's not a challenger player anymore. Still an incredible master player, but that's the thing. His major strength a few years ago was people didn't know how to play against it. But because it's basically become the default now, people know what to do. And that's kind of a weird point. Oh, Fiddle, buddy. And again, this Fiddle, time and time again, to me, has shown he just hasn't thought things through. So that is the game. Nocturne ends with a perfect 10.05. Played it incredibly clean. Quite an often third item, by the way, for good Nocturnes, because you are an ultimately all-in champion, and that's all you've got, is GA. GA often on a Nocturne third or fourth item is a smart thing. It's not just KDA protecting, it's biding time. Because if you jump in, the enemy team instantly turns to kill you, they kill you, but then you're reviving with GA, it gives your team time to get on top to either protect you or just have a good fight. But yeah, very clean Nocturne, good, decent farm, didn't overly invade, only invaded when it was a smart idea to do. Very good ultimates, very decisive on them, you know, didn't hesitate, you know, which cost him a kill, always ulted at a right time, and if it either got him a kill or it got him, you know, Fiddle's flash or something, like, it was good, really clean. So yeah, Nocturne, I would say, is a very strong champion. One of the major weaknesses of the champion, though, is he is very one-dimensional. He can sometimes suffer because of his whole, I'm going on one person, I'm ulting one person. If he's against an absolute wall team fight group, team comp, he can really struggle because he's going to ult into a middle of a team fight comp. That's a bit rough. Where he obviously excels is finding one person alone. And again, that's a very SoloQ thing because you'll have a team fight comp, but for some reason your AD carries like, I'm going to top lane alone, bye. No idea why that player's not thinking, or at least they're thinking wrong. And the Nocturne's like, oh, hello there, I'll kill you. So his major counter is team play. Team play and communication, but obviously a lot of the time SoloQ doesn't have that, and that is why Nocturne's a pretty good SoloQ champion. But anyway, hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, do throw a like on the video, throw a comment, throw a subscribe. Hopefully having a good festive season, and I'll see you guys soon. Goodbye.
Call down the reckoning to bring back hope and peace. Restore our glory to live forever. Bring down the dark regime.